Welcome back to Talkin Shop with ShopSabre. I am Brandon, back with Nick.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. You ready for today?
Always.
Dude, it's my favorite week of the year.
The second to last week of the year?
No, Christmas week.
Oh, Christmas week. Okay.
It's my favorite week. You know why Christmas is my favorite?
Because
It's magical.
Christmas is a lot of fun.
It's a magical
It's a lot
time
of
of year.
happiness.
I think I like it a lot more. I wasn't a huge Christmas guy before. My favorite holiday has always been Thanksgiving. But it's recently, like in the last several years, really started to be challenged with Christmas. My favorite holiday is now
How come?
challenged. And it's because I have kids. Like ever since having kids now, and like they're getting old enough, they're at that age right now, like the perfect age.
Yeah.
Because they're not old. Like Caden's getting to the age now where he's getting an attitude a little bit. So I kind of want to trip him down the stairs sometimes. But Ethan is at like that 6-7-year-old age, where they're like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But they're both still into the magic of Christmas. Like they both still, have a huge like understanding of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Of like the thankfulness of everything, if that makes sense. Like they look forward to opening presents, and they look forward, like when you get older, you kind of like lose that.
My mom still asks me all the time, what do you want for Christmas?
My dad does.
I don't need anything.
Well, you can't say that to my
don't need
dad.
anything.
If you say that to my dad, like my dad and mom have a rule that like as long as they are around, you will enjoy Christmas the way you did as a kid.
But then if you ask them back what they want, I don't need anything.
Oh no, yeah, they won't give you a list.
Like,
they're
come on,
terrible.
you got to have it both ways.
See
So
that?
let's go.
But I get it as a parent though. You got to think of it as a parent. Like
Yeah.
right now, if Drew comes up to you and he's like, "Hey, Dad, what do you want for Christmas?"
You did not throw a controller at my face?
Yeah,
That's what I wanted to
yeah,
do.
but you're gonna say nothing, right?
Yeah.
You are. You're gonna
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
him nothing,
Yep.
or you're gonna tell him don't throw a controller at my face.
Correct.
Which, by the way, I can now see the Nintendo thing in your head. But in all seriousness, like it's that same thing, right? As they get older, it doesn't change. You don't want anything from your kid.
Yep.
It's the same way. Like my son was talking to me last night about it. He's like, Dad, I got you a really awesome Christmas gift. And I was like, oh yeah, what is it? But in seriousness, I didn't say that because he might have told me. But no, I was like, buddy, you didn't have to do anything for me. Like my gift is watching you open it.
Yeah.
And like for him, like I was asking him last night, like, what's your favorite thing about Christmas? And he said, going to Papa's house. And I thought that was so cool because like as a 9-year-old, he didn't pick presents.
Yep.
He picked going to his Papa's house.
Yep.
And I was like, well, cool. I'm like, what do you like about Papa's house? You know what he picked?
Food.
Yeah. He said breakfast.
Breakfast.
He's like, Papa makes the best breakfast. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I make you breakfast a lot, so I guess I know where I rank.
Right.
But no, he was like, yeah, Papa's breakfast. Because my dad makes like an Italian breakfast. And they're called Filettis. I don't know if you've ever had them, but
Never heard of it.
yeah, it's pretty good. They're
Anything
like,
Italian is usually good. Though,
they're like
so-
sugar donuts, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, my dad makes them from scratch. And yeah, it's just super bomb. Like, but it's cool that my kid picked that out.
For sure. Yeah.
And then my other one, Ethan, I asked him, hey, what's your favorite part about Christmas? Because Ethan counts it down every day. He wakes up in the morning, Dad, this many days. Dad, this many days. And like he's been counting it down. And yesterday he did it to me. And I said, what's your favorite part? And he's like, Papa's house. And I was like, this is before I asked Cade. And I'm like, oh, what do you like about Papa's house? Christmas dinner. Like he picked the dinner.
Yep.
And I said, oh, you like the food? No, I get to see all my cousins. Like that was it for him. It was
Yeah.
like seeing his cousins and hanging out and like, because all of our, all of my brothers and sisters and all of them are there. And like all the grandkids are there. So like for him, he gets to run around for hours playing with them
Yeah.
at my dad's house. And that to him is more magical than the actual idea of presents.
Yep. For
And
sure.
like to me, that's what made me like excited about it. So I'm starting to like, as I get older, really enjoy Christmas.
Yeah.
So that's why it's my favorite week now.
Makes sense. Not to mention you like the hustle and bustle and the busyness of the last couple
Dude,
weeks of sales.
I love
right?
December for sales, for ShopSabre, because like it's fun to see how many businesses are making big changes for next year. Like that to me is a huge thing for me. Like I get a real joy out of watching businesses reinvest in themselves. And you always hear all the negative things on the news and how the economy this, the economy that. Like being honest, it's a lot of times just I think an agenda sometimes.
Give them something to talk about.
Yeah, give them something to talk about, get you scared. But I get to see like really what's going on in the world in the first hand. Like I'm talking to the business owners, and it's not as bad as everybody. Like these businesses are like, man, I'm so busy right now. I got to add equipment. I got to do that. Like that's what excites me about this time of year is it's seeing how many businesses have reinvested in themselves and made changes for 2024.
Yep. I think that's obviously something we've been talking about for the last several weeks, right? Like
Yeah.
reinvesting in your company, making your company better heading into 24,
Yeah.
planning for the future and not just, staying behind everybody else.
Right. And that's, obviously we teased last week on the episode about big things coming, right? And we had our big reveal on Friday.
And no, it wasn't a new website.
And it wasn't a new website for all you smart asses out there. Yeah. No, that was pretty good though. I laughed a few times when people said that.
It was pretty funny.
But about the 14th time somebody said it, I was like, okay, we got it. Our last
we get
big
it.
reveal was a website. This is not. I'm gonna make sure my next big reveal is a website just to throw everybody back off again.
Well, we do have something coming website related
I know.
at the beginning of the year. So
Yeah, I know. That's why I said my
it'll
next
be
big
great.
one. Yeah. But no, this was cool. Like we released the new TC series pipe cutter machine, or tube cutter machine, excuse me, not pipe, tube cutter.
Tube cutter.
And then the new ISA series router.
Both are absolutely awesome looking machines.
Yeah.
Really cool.
I'm excited by them both. Like I just want to work on both of those all day long.
Right. I think there was obviously a lot of excitement too when we shared the news of what was coming, right? I mean,
Right.
you saw the comments on
Yeah.
social media and email and stuff asking a million questions about all of it. So it was awesome to see and be a part of.
ShopSabre.com. If you haven't checked it out, go to the website. We have the new products listed on there. But yeah, TC series is under Plasma and ISA is listed under Router. So it's not often that we release two new products at the same time. But we felt like it's a good opportunity. It's actually product launch. The formal product launch is going to be early next year. But we wanted to do an early release for those looking to make a decision before the end of the year for tax reasons and whatnot that, hey, these new products are here. If you really want something, that's going to potentially revolutionize your business,
Absolutely.
here's two options.
I mean, that's obviously a big step up for somebody that's needs some piece of the equipment like that in their shop, right? I mean, it's not just definitely not just an entry level thing, right? You can take a big step from doing what you were doing to automating everything.
Well, that's what I like about it is that you've automated, like for the TC series, we offer that it's called the TC12 and TC24. And they're basically a 12-foot and 24-foot length. And they're designed for rotational tube, so whether it be a rotary tube cutting. So, whether it be a square tube, a rectangle tube, a round tube. But it's a tube cutter is what it is. It's, historically with our machines, you could buy a Plasma and then you could add a tube cutter on the machine. But the tube cutter had some constraints. You had to have the tube cut to size already. It had to fit up on the machine. There's some limitations there. Now you can literally buy a machine specifically for processing tube. And so now you just load the whole stick in there, so 12-foot stick or 24-foot stick. And the machine moves the stick in and out, cuts the pieces off. And then we're partnering with Hypertherm. So we use the Rotary Tube Pro software with that machine. And it's a pretty big game changer on that. I mean, you think about what that brings to your fingertips. If you're a shop that does a lot of tube work, there's no more handling of it. You just load it in the machine, let the machine do the.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to have precision cutting taking place as opposed to trying to either hold things in place to be cut or cutting it by hand. I guess.
Yeah,
if people still do it that way.
No, I agree. And that's exactly it. I mean, there's so many things that you can automate now with that, and you just think about the level of performance a shop can gain. Because now, if you're a roll cage shop or you're a shop that's doing, fab work for trucks or cars or, race cars or automotive, whatever, anything that uses a tube, you don't have to cut by hand anymore.
Well, and it goes back to what we talked about before. You can replicate the same thing
right
over and over and over again. So if you're making a bunch of, like you said, roll cages for race cars that are the same, style or model, or you can make the exact same one for every car.
Well, and they fit together is what's nice. Now you can, a lot of companies already use CAD for design. So they're designing product, and doing a full product design in terms of, modeling their product out. Well, now you can take that model and actually import the parts into the machine, and the machine will cut it. So you don't have to worry about notching and doing some of that on your own now. Now the machine can do it. So you literally get tubes that fit together, weldable right out of the gate.
Yeah, and I mean, what other styles of? Is there different shapes of tubing you can use in it? I mean, is it basically square, rectangle? round? I mean, is that the three that kind of?
Yeah, I mean that's the three. Yeah, it's square, rectangle, and round that would ultimately be what you're cutting. But I mean, the variety of sizes in those products, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
when you think about the actual like size of a tube, I mean, as an example, on the square tube, you can go 5 inches in square tube, a 5-inch square tube. That's a pretty
That's a big
substantial,
square tube,
yeah,
yeah.
pretty substantial size tube. And you can go down to what, 1 inch on that one? You can go all the way down to a 1-inch tube. So, I mean,
Versatile.
yeah, very
A lot of
versatile, the amount of, material you can process. And then you look at something like rectangular tube, you can go 6-inch in the length. Now, the minimum or the height, with a 6x4 being the max. And then same with, you can get down to a 1-inch on that one too. So, I mean, it's again, versatile there. I mean, your hypotenuse of the tube, essentially can be up to 7 inches on this cutter. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
A 7-inch hypotenuse is pretty substantial.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at the actual weight capacity, the machine can turn up to a 500-pound piece of tube. It's a pretty heavy-duty tube.
massive, yeah.
Yeah. And then round is up to 6-inch. Again, you can go up to 6-inch round, down to 3/4-inch round. So again, I mean, you can,
From nothing to
Yeah.
as big as you need. I mean, really.
yeah, there's so many different pieces to that puzzle, and really when you look at it, like I said, the machine can do the largest version of it's 288 inches. It's a long tube.
So, like on the 12-foot one, how short can it be? I guess is there a lot of smaller products people make with these, or
Not really. Most people don't, but I mean, yeah, you can get down to like 1 inch, roughly. So, yeah, I mean,
yeah, I
it's-
mean, the options are endless, obviously.
yeah, exactly. And then your maximum thickness on it's 5/8 of an inch wall thickness. So again, I mean, pretty heavy duty tube. So yeah, the part size though, like you were saying, the maximum or minimum length is 12 inches. The maximum length is like 144 inches on that 12-footer. And then on the larger one, the minimum length is still 12 inches, but the maximum length is 288 inches.
That's insane. I mean, that's giant.
Yeah, I mean, it should tackle a lot of need. I mean, we've had a ton of inquiries about it already.
It just seems crazy. I mean, how many do you cut a lot of stuff that's longer than 24 feet? I mean, that just seems,
Some people do.
saying that, it just
Yeah.
seems like it's.
Yeah, we do
massive
get
in
some
there.
people. We had one request already for a guy who's like, "Can you give me a 40-footer?" I'm like, "Well,
Lord.
it's coming one day, but not yet."
That's wild.
We just released these two, so yeah, we're pretty excited about it. We got some cool things. It's got we got a through coolant option that'll be released here in the first quarter on it. So if you order now, you get a deal on that as well. But yeah, so there's a lot of cool things coming down the pipeline there. I mean, pipeline. Get it?
Pipeline. Well played.
Get what I said there? But yeah, no, it's a pretty awesome machine. Like I said, the TC series is on our website. You can check it out. We got some, photos. We got a few teaser videos on it. Like I said, it's got, heavy duty chuck heads on it. I mean, it's a pretty sweet piece of equipment.
And a heck of a nice price for the introductory
Dude,
ordering, right?
It's too cheap, to be honest with you. Like, I keep telling the sales guys, we got to raise the price on that because when you look at the market right now, most of the machines are 40 grand plus. And we introduced it at 25 grand. Like, it's too cheap. Just being honest. Like, it's too cheap. And especially when you start, the more I'm learning about the industry, a lot of these machines don't have anywhere near the features that this machine has at that price. Like, even their $40,000 price machines struggle to have some of the features that we're offering. So it's like, yeah, it won't be long. I mean, honestly, I'm sure once they start figuring out what the margin is on these machines, we'll find out that we're probably a little tight on margin. But, right now it gets them out there and gets them in people's shops. So, it's a perfect time to buy one of those machines because you're paying under what they really should be at, already.
And obviously, you can reap the tax benefits of 2023, right?
Section 179. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited by that system. Like I said, the 12-foot version starts at 25 grand. You can't beat that.
No.
I mean, if you're doing enough rotary stuff, you really should be looking at.
Sounds like another one of those machines that'll pay for itself rather quickly with the speed it's going to gain for you and the obviously
Absolutely.
the accuracy and
Absolutely.
quality of your cuts.
Nope, I totally agree with you there. I think it makes a lot of sense to invest in yourself, especially for next year. I mean, when you think about this type of technology, if you have a plasma machine and you're already doing a lot of flat work and now you're going to be going into tube and pipe, and maybe you already do that and you outsource a lot of it, or maybe you're doing it the hard way. It's time to start looking at, streamlining that.
Yeah, obviously a smart investment. And like we've always said, invest smartly in what you're going to do and invest smartly in your future.
Right. Totally agree with that. Then the other thing is like that ISA machine. I mean, we're just talking about TC this whole time. Like, I'm excited about TC, but that doesn't even include the ISA.
Yeah, and watch that thing's really cool in itself. Kind of watching that thing come together out in the shop
Yeah.
over the past, couple of months, wondering what the heck is going on here, because it was obviously a secretive thing where nobody really knew what was going on. Like, there was
so hard to build a machine of that size and not talk about it,
right?
Because we're out there building this thing, and obviously we have customers come in for training all the time. We have people walking through the shop, and people will walk up and they look right at it. I mean, it's there. And I gotta say, I have a lot of respect for people because it didn't get leaked.
No.
I was super concerned it was going to get leaked because I'm like, how many people saw that thing before it ever got announced?
Well, and the biggest thing that I kept seeing out in the shop was when the unloader thing was sitting over by where the trucks come into play. I was like, what the hell is this random thing doing sitting here? Nobody knew anything.
Yeah.
Nobody said anything, nothing. Next thing you know, 2 days later, it's on the end of this machine.
Yeah, that unloader machine that we had built. Well, we built the unloaders portion of it first, and then, like you said, we had to put it somewhere, so we just sat it over in the shipping department. We figured it can hide there for a little while. But the machine itself, when it started coming together, I mean, that thing's pretty massive. And like you said, when we pair them together, then it kind of clicked for everybody. Like, oh, that's what that was.
Yep, it's
but,
pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome machine. I mean, I feel like the ISA is really going to change a lot of people's business. Because historically, for the price point of what that machine is, you don't get the American quality. There's really not a lot of American-made products at that price point.
No.
Most of them are imports of some regard. And, there's a lot of options in that machine, obviously, that you just don't get elsewhere. I mean, the tool changer alone, we came out with that new Fave 3 tool changer, released it at, AWFS this last year, and it was a real groundbreaker. I mean, a lot of people still, we get a ton of calls about that system. But we paired the Fave 3 design with the rotary carousel on the ISM. So you still get the carousel style tool changer on this one, but now it slides in and out like the Fave 3 did, so it's right at the head.
I think that's obviously seems like one of the coolest features. I know when we were doing some of our promotional photos and stuff, that was one thing that you really wanted to make sure to focus on. So people
I think it's underrated still. Until people actually see it in action and see it moving in and out and doing its thing, like I don't think people realize it's even there. It is the most versatile tool changer on the market today.
And it's obviously going to save a ton of time when you're doing your work, right?
Because instead of 3 tools, now you have 12 tools at the head.
And it just can pretty much constantly just keep cutting and moving and changing, right?
That machine can run at speeds unlike... there is nothing on the market to date that will run at the speed that machine will.
And then you add a sheet unloader to the end of it.
Right.
And obviously makes that part of it
way
faster.
That doesn't even get into the fact that, like, again, it's building off the M platform, and the ISM has the Mitsubishi controller. So you think about like the future development of that alone, like the Mitsubishi controller is so fast and so ridiculously accurate. And now you added that to this unload machine. The machine's going to be able to put through, sheet after sheet without any hesitation.
And to kind of think about the fact that you somehow upgraded the ISM machine to something bigger, better, faster, cooler. The ISM is obviously a sweet machine.
ISM fits a lot of people's applications, especially because there's a lot of people that don't need an unloader. Yep. But if you need an unloader, like the ISA is the answer. It's the premium product for that. And, it comes with a boring head standard on the ISA. So that's a nice thing. It's like if you are trying to rapid produce, you have a boring head, a 12-position bi-directional Fave style tool changer, and then you have the unloader. Like, it is a workhorse.
Yeah, there's not much more you could really add to it to make it any better, right? It's as good as it gets, as fast as it gets. It's going to be it's obviously a game changer for a lot of people.
It is. It really is. It's a big upgrade to what is on the market to date. There's some Chinese machines out there, and everybody's going to talk about, options that some of the Chinese machines have and whatnot. But it's, at the end of the day, they just can't lay the performance down that one of these machines is going to be able to day in and day out.
It's just like anything else that any of other machines that people try to compare to the Chinese models and say they're the same, right? It's obviously not going to be, and it's going to be head and toes above that.
That's right.
Absolutely. I mean, you nailed it. That's exactly it. It's like when you truly break down the technology. I mean, it's ball screw driven, not rack and pinion, like all the competitors. So it already brings a level of accuracy you won't find elsewhere. It's got full Mitsubishi control on it. I mean, full Mitsubishi control. It is Mitsubishi M8 series controller, the most accurate servo motors in the industry. Like, there is not a more accurate servo motor on the market than what we are using on that. And it's got true feedback on this control. So it's not only closed loop, but it's got feedback, meaning while it's cutting, it's making changes on the fly. It's doing what it's got compensation. It's vibration stabilization. It's got everything built into that control that you get on the $250,000 machines.
Yep.
That you're not getting less technology in that controller. I mean, you got to remember, this control system is the same control system you find on machines that are upwards of $1 million. It's the same controller.
That's crazy.
Like, it's not this knockoff. It is the same. It's the M8 series controller by Mitsubishi. It is ridiculous.
So I think the one thing that, I mean, not to jump off topic or away from the controller, but
Oh, you're good.
I just noticed the size of the gantry and the machine itself, and everything about it just looks like it's badass. It's everything about it is big, huge, solid. It just looks like a monster mean machine.
Well, I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
That's basically what the ISA does.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it basically does that. It wakes up in the morning and just pisses excellence. It's the engineering team knocked it out of the park. It is a sweet machine.
Yeah.
Like I said, I stand next to the machine and I just get excited by it. I see it. Even now, talking about it, I get excited by it. Like, it is a machine for the future. It's not for everybody. I mean, obviously, if you're a shop that doesn't run all day, every day, it's probably more machine than you need. But the ISM and the ISA series machines is for a high production, high accuracy, solution. It's companies that are professional businesses running all day, every day, 1, 2, sometimes 3 shifts a day. That's what it's designed for. It's that level of client. You're dying over here today.
It's the never-ending cough that won't go
The
away.
never-ending cough. This is the cough that never ends.
I remember blaming it on the Vikings game a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what it was.
Yeah. You think?
I don't think so.
You think
anymore.
maybe you were wrong on that one?
Maybe a little bit. That's okay, though. It's getting better. Going to be better for the holidays.
Yeah.
Better for the end of the year rush, the busyness, the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
It's all good.
No, I agree. It's that time of year, though, where you kind of wear yourself out.
Yeah,
You know?
it can happen. But then we'll get through it all. It'll be fun.
Then
We
we'll go
always
on
make the best of
vacation.
it. Vacation? Where are you going?
I'm not going.
Oh, me either.
I'm not going this year. I usually go to Arizona and race, and I'm not going this year. I'm going to be enjoying some hockey time with my kid.
The goalie.
Goalie, goalie.
Dude, it was awesome watching your youngest dance in the net the other day.
Did you see that?
Hilarious.
Ridiculous.
He is the perfect kind of goofy for that position.
Dude, I was like, that's what I said too. Like, he started playing it, and I'm like, oh no. I'm going to have 2 goalies.
Your house is going to be wild once they're both.
You know what? He got out of net, though, and he came up to me. Dad, I don't like that.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, really? He's like, yeah, I don't like being goalie. I want to go score goals.
Did the first one like it right away?
Oh, right away. Couldn't
away.
get him out of it. Dad, can I be goalie again? Can I be goalie again? I want to be goalie again. That's what Caden wanted. Ethan straight up came out of the net. Was like, nope.
Is it one of those things where they all just have to try it just to see? Or did
They're
you
just
want- did you
asked.
wanna try
Like,
it?
yeah, if you want to try it, you can at that age. They just kind of let you. They don't force anybody to play it. But yeah, they asked him at the tournament. We were at a 3-game tournament. Like, you want to play the 3rd game? And he's like, I don't know. He goes, and his coach asked him in the locker room when we were getting him ready, hey, you want to play the 3rd game as goalie? And he's literally looked at him and goes, I don't know. I'll let you know. Like, that was his response. And I was like, okay. Which most kids, like, right away jump on the idea to play goalie until they realize they're getting the puck shot at them, And it's not like Ethan hasn't played goalie before because his brother has all the pads. So, like, he's put him on at the house and played in the basement with Caden so Caden could shoot. So, like, he's done it. But you could just tell, like, he was more interested in dancing in the net and listening to the music than he was actually playing the position.
That makes sense.
So
He's a goal scorer. He wants to get out there and
dude,
play, right?
and that's what he said to me. When he got done, he's like, Dad, I just want to score goals. I'm like, my man. I was like, I like it. Like, honestly, I heard this quote the other day from somebody, and it was actually a video, and I sent it to my wife, and Unfortunately, she said it made her cry. But
Way to go.
yeah, I know. There's a guy that was talking though, and he said that the hardest position to play is goalie, and most parents don't encourage their kids to play. They don't want them to play it. And he said, I would, and I agree with him. If I could do it all over and I could pick the position for my kid, I'd pick goalie. And now that I've got my kid into goal, and I have been since the beginning, I've been a huge advocate of Caden being a goalie. And my wife has been a huge advocate for him not being a goalie. And like after she watched it, she realized like it was the right decision for him because, when you think about, and this works for life too. So just so you guys know, I'm not just talking about sports right now. This is for life. There's a lot of like positions that you can be in where you can go out and kind of blend in or hide or become invisible, if you will,
sure.
right? Like, and especially in hockey, it's another position where like there's 5 skaters out there and a goalie. One skater can blend in for a moment, right? You can get lost in the play, be out of position. You can do something wrong. Really, nobody notices.
Yep.
A lot of times the coaches might notice, right? But you as a person watching, you don't notice.
Correct.
The average person not trained in coaching of this don't realize the player's out of position. It doesn't show up unless, obviously, it's such a horrendous play that, then everybody talks about it. But every time a goalie is out of position or in the wrong spot or does something wrong, it shows up on the scoreboard.
Oh, yeah. And it's very obvious.
Everybody knows it.
Yep.
You don't know when a skater doesn't make the right pass necessarily. You know when the goalie didn't make the save.
Yep.
The horn goes off, the music plays, the world gets loud. There's a lot of distraction, right? And it's the same thing in life, right? There's a lot of things that you have to consider. Like, I would say the same thing. I would encourage more managers, more companies out there to be willing to give more power to their employees because they understand the burdens then that the company, the managers, the other people feel, and they take more pride in what they do.
Absolutely.
And for me, like as a goalie, Caden, he is learning life skills that he will use the rest of. He might not be a goalie forever, right? He could quit playing goalie next year.
Yep.
He could quit playing goalie in 5 years. He could play all the way through high school, and then he's 5 feet tall and just too small to be an NHL goalie, so he's not going anywhere. The reality is he going to go to be a goalie to the NHL? Most likely not. Probably unlikely he's going to do that. But he's going to retain life skills. And the life skill that he's going to retain, and why I would always choose my kids to be a goalie, is that you have to learn to drown out the noise in life. The outside noise that you can't control.
Yep.
Because you give up a bad goal, every kid on the ice tells you, every parent is upset, the entire crowd is into it, right? And at the larger levels, the fans boo you, right? The internet goes crazy, people tweet about you, and you think about that. If you can block that out, how much better of a person do you become?
Yep. Way better. Obviously, the challenges of that and the mentality of being able to block that out and succeed even when the challenges like that happen. I mean, that you talking about that reminded me of something that Tiger Woods was talking about last week, playing golf. About his kid is obviously a really good high school golfer.
Yeah,
obviously he's one of the best golfers that ever played.
They were just seen golfing together. I saw.
Yeah, there was a father-son tournament.
Is that what it was?
It's I guess it's the parent-child thing now. It was a father-son, but now there's some women that play with their kids, which is cool.
That's cool.
But he said that he's always, when they're out practicing or playing, he's always trash talking or talking because he said, if I can get in his head, that means anybody else he is playing against can get in his head. So until he can drown me out and not do it, he's not going to succeed. And
it's funny that you say that because that's the way I've been. Like, and I'm here. I do that to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I trash talk everybody.
100%.
Like, I don't. That's just how I am because it's not that I truly try to bring anybody down. I want everybody to be able to realize like you can take this.
Yep.
Like nothing somebody else is going to throw at you is going to be worse, right?
100%.
And I do it with my own kids. Like we're in the basement. My wife used to get so mad. I have video. I mean, you probably saw the videos.
Yep, I've seen them.
Like I used to take video all the time of my kid playing goalie, and I used to post all the time and have fun with him. But like I talked more trash to my kid than anybody. Like when he was 5 years old, I was scoring goals on him. I was sniping the corner of the net and then booing him.
Yep.
And I did it on purpose. And my wife used to get so mad, and my mother-in-law used to get so mad at me. She's like, "You guys, you have to let him win. You have to." I'm like, "No, I don't."
But you know how hard your kid is going to try to stop that shot
Correct.
the next time because
well,
he
here's
doesn't
the
want to
thing.
hear it?
He's 9 years old now. I can literally play as hard as I want against him, and he is legitimately hard to score a goal on now. Like as he's a goalie now, like he is a hard goalie to score a goal on because I have taken the effort of pushing him to his limits and showing him that you are never good enough, right?
Always.
if you just make every save, he begins to think he's the best.
Right, just flip it into his chest every time so he
Correct.
can just stop it, doesn't have to move to make it. I mean,
And that's what I said. Like, you have to, yes, there's some level of confidence. In warm-ups, I warm him up, and I hit every pad he's got, and I make him feel like he's the biggest brick
Sure.
wall there is.
Yep.
So he has that confidence going into a game. But in practice, I score every single time I can, so he remembers that you have something to work on.
Yep. And like you said, it's not even just in sports, it's just in everything. Like,
Yeah.
challenging people to be better is good.
Correct.
Why you don't want to let people just get complacent and feel
Correct.
like average is okay.
Correct. And a lot of businesses do that.
Yep.
They get average, and they think that's okay. Well, we still did okay, but you failed. You didn't grow.
Right.
You didn't get that deal. You didn't win. You didn't make a move. You're not ready for 2024. You haven't done things to make your business better.
Instead of being good, be great.
Correct.
I mean,
And that's where I come from, is like that mentality of like, my dad has always pushed me. You aren't, my dad, I can do 20 things right, and he'll tell me the one thing I did wrong. Doesn't mean that he doesn't believe in the 20 things I did right.
correct.
He doesn't want me to get so self-absorbed that those 20 things you did right overcome that one thing you did wrong.
We
Guess
can
what?
just kick that one under the rug and not worry
One
about
thing
it?
turns
Like,
into 2 and 3 and 4, and then guess what? If you do 12 every month, you do 20 things right and one thing wrong, you've done 12 things wrong all year long.
Yep. So you're what, 2/3 right and 1/3 wrong?
Correct.
That's no good.
And suddenly now it turns into you are 33% fail, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot worse record. So
terrible.
yeah, you start getting to that point where it's like you have to be willing to push the limits and the boundaries and what you want. And that's why I would choose, as a dad, I would choose my kid to play goalie all day, because he has to learn to drown out the noise. And he came into that this weekend. He played a game Saturday and Sunday. And Saturday he went into the net halfway through the game. Excuse me. And I knew I shouldn't put him in. The kid was playing lights out. He'd made 21 saves on 23 shots. Playing great. But the rule on our team from day one has been, you guys will split ice time 50-50, with the only way you're staying in for a full game is the other player is sick or absent, or you are on a shutout. If you want to play a full game, put a shutout up. Don't let them score.
Again, challenge them to be good.
Right? Challenge them to be the best. So now the kid, he's given up 2 goals. It's coming up on the 6-minute mark, and I'm like, I shouldn't pull him. He's playing ridiculously good. So I look and turn to the other coach, and I said, should I leave him in? He goes, nope, let's make the switch. And he made the same decision. He goes, rules are rules. I'm like, you're right. Okay, thanks for holding me accountable, right? I go down, Caden, get ready. You're going in. He's jacked. Oh, I'm going, Dad, I'm going. Gets in the net, first 2 shots in the net. We're now down 4-1. He gives up 2 shots on 3, or no, he gave up 2 goals on 3 shots. So he saved 1 and then gave up 2. Instantly, the team's morale goes down. Everybody's morale goes down. You can see my kid's morale goes down. The whole team is like really bummed, right? We end up losing that game 5-1. My kid ended up making a bunch of saves, but still gave up another goal. So he ended up giving 3 goals on like 18 shots. The other kid gave up 2 goals on 24 shots or 23 shots, whatever it ended up being. And the other kid outplayed him. Played better. Simple as that. My kid wasn't the best goalie that day. He come off the ice so mad. So mad. Went in the locker room, didn't say a word, just started getting his stuff off. We get in the car, and I said, hey, how'd it go, bud? And I try not to question my kid right after a game, because they're going through a lot of mental stuff too. Like, they're trying to calm down. And I just asked him, how'd it go? Not good, Dad. I'm like, okay. And I just left it. Dad, I could have done this. I could have done, and he starts going. And I'm like, I'm going to let him talk. He just talk. And I said, guess what we're going to do? We're going to work harder tomorrow, aren't we? And he just went silent. And I think he expected me to, like, because I trash talk him all the time, right?
Yeah.
He expected that from me. Dad's going to light me up. He's going to trash talk me. And I'm like, we'll get him tomorrow. And he didn't know what to say. He just went silent. Then that night, we're sitting there or whatever, and he come up to me, can we watch my game? Absolutely. I pull up the tape. He starts watching the game. Could have done this differently. He starts looking at what he's doing, right? Next morning, he wakes up, comes upstairs. Dad, today's the day, is what he tells me. And I'm like, today's the day? Today's the day, Dad. And we always joke about that. Today's the day means 2 things in my household. You either are going to go out and have the best possible game you could have. Both my boys will say it on game day. Or you want to fight me. Because I told them, someday you're going to want to challenge me, and you think you can take me. And you're going to think, today's the day. And I promise you, it's not going to be that day. And we always joke about that. And so he came up to me, today's the day. I said, oh, we fighting? He goes, no, Dad. Today's the day, though. I said, okay. So we kind of like joking around all day long. And then that game came, that Sunday night game. And he went out and played lights out. Played absolutely lights out. But got his skate stuck on the net as he was trying to make a push. They scored on a wraparound in the second period. He only had like a few minutes. Like, it's a few minutes before he was supposed to switch
yeah.
and they score. And you could tell instantly he's pissed about it, right?
Because it's like, if I'm on a shutout, I
Yep.
get to stay in. Yeah.
Correct. So he comes to the bench. He's like, Dad, let me stay. I'm like, give me a reason to let you stay. And he goes back to the net, and he just starts playing crazy, like lights out. Biggest saves I've ever seen him making, like crazy saves. I still pulled them. Pulled him at the 6-minute mark. He comes to the bench, throws his stick on the bench. I gave you a reason. I said, yeah, he gave me a reason to pull you. There's a 1 on the scoreboard.
Yep.
Sit down. And he sat down, and he just looked at me, and you could tell, like I could feel it the whole game, just glaring at me, pissed that I just pulled him.
Yep.
Other goalie goes in, exact reverse opposite of the day before. He now has the bad game, right? We lose, whatever, 5-1. His dad comes off the bench, right? His dad comes out of the stands, game's over. Dad comes walking up to me, goes, should have left your kid in. And I'm like, yeah, I probably should have on that one, huh? I'm like, but I won't do that. He's not my kid. That's your kid, and I'm not going to bench your kid because my kid's playing.
Yeah.
And he goes, should have benched my kid. That's what he said. And so we were both laughing about it. He's like, I'm going to text you next time, tell you to leave him in. I'm like, not going to matter. If they give up a goal, they're coming off.
Yeah.
And he's like, fair, I get it. But the point of it was I challenged him.
For sure.
And as a manager, as a business, you need to challenge your employees. Even when they're doing everything right, if they do anything that doesn't meet the standards of what your expectations are, you still have to challenge them.
Well,
Doesn't mean you have to belittle them, but you have to challenge them.
And I think most employees that have any type of care about their job or respect for their job or the company are going to take it the proper way, right? And want to fix what they've done wrong. And obviously will know that the other 100 things that they've done right aren't dismissed by, like you said, dismissed by pointing out the one bad thing.
Correct.
You can still focus on getting better, because as soon as you think that one day you're the best you can be, what's that going to do? It's just going to lead you down a path of going back to mediocre and not being great. If you just get complacent and think that you're doing everything good enough.
I just think, again, it goes back to you don't challenge yourself then. Like, yeah, you might be doing everything pretty much right out there, but is there any, I want to ask, like I'm asking you, Nick, is there anybody in this world that you would consider to be perfect?
Absolutely not.
And anything you know of, like sports, people, like there's nothing, right?
Nope.
Nobody's perfect. We all have something we can work on.
For sure.
And the problem is I think that's where the hardest employees are to coach, is the ones that believe they do everything right.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you believe everything you do is right, you end up finding out really, really quick that somebody's better than you.
Yep. For sure.
And that's the hardest thing for most people to swallow, is that I'm not the best. And you start to wonder, is that a lesson that we're teaching people? Because we're afraid to confront them. Are you afraid to challenge your business, right? Right now, you're sitting in your business, sitting here, it's the end of the year. We're in December 23rd, or what date is today? 22nd, whatever.
I think it's only like the 20th, 19th.
Yeah, 19th, whatever. We're close enough. It feels like the end of the year. But we're sitting here, and you're not making any changes for next year. You're doing nothing. You haven't invested in equipment. You haven't invested in software, people, processes. You haven't done anything different. Why should next year be any different than this year?
It probably shouldn't be if you're not making any actions to make it better.
It probably won't be. Not shouldn't be, right? It's probably not going to be any different than what you did this year.
Right.
And now you've opened up yourself to risk, because you've done nothing to change next year.
But other people have done.
But your
things to
competitors
change.
have.
Yep.
Your competitors are doing things to steal from you. The pie is only so big. And there's only so many slices we're going to get out of that pie.
And once you're behind, it's not going to be very easy to catch.
And
back
you
up.
haven't started to try to take any more pie. So guess what? The guy next to you, he's hungry. He's going to start taking your pie.
Absolutely.
And that's what I try to remind businesses.
Hopefully it's apple pie.
Okay. Apple pie is good. I like apple pie. But my point being is that if you haven't made that next step, us releasing the ISA, us releasing the TC is our way of making that next move.
Yep.
Moving on to show customers we want to help you make the next move. We want to help your business grow. Because could we have built the same products next year as we did this year? Absolutely.
Yep, for sure.
But eventually, customers that have our product today may outgrow their capabilities and need something more, faster, quicker, bigger. I don't want to lose my customers.
Right, and now you have those machines that are out there and available.
Yep.
And then you can, moving forward, make improvements on those things to, add what the customers need and what the customers want.
Well, it just allows us to build more platforms. And so I ask this because as your cabinet company sitting there, your sign company, your fabrication company, whatever you're doing today, if you haven't changed anything for next year, why should your business change next year?
It shouldn't.
It will in a negative only, because you've done nothing.
Yep.
You've let your competitors control your business. And that's why I try to remind people. If you don't make the move, your competitors will for you. And I promise you, no competitor is going to make you better.
No, heck
They're
no.
not going to go, well, you know what? Nick, you didn't do anything this year, so I'll help you out. Here you go. Here's a bunch of stuff. No, they're going to go, Nick didn't do shit. I'm going to take his stuff.
And I'm going to have too many jobs to work on, but guess what? I'm going to keep them all and just wait.
Correct.
And use my automation and use my machines to get it done way
Right.
faster than he would have anyhow.
Correct. And that's the thing is that people forget that in business is that these life lessons you can learn in everyday routine.
Proactive and not reactive.
Correct. You got to be proactive, not reactive. Reactive businesses die.
Always.
They eventually run out of time, right?
Other weaknesses, we're slow learners, and we're not particularly good listeners.
And then there's people like that who are just not going to listen to anything we're saying, and they're like, oh, we're good. We're going to make lots of money next year. Blah, 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 blah.
They want to be the smartest man in the business,
Yep.
and they're not.
Yep, I never want to be the smartest man in this business.
Correct.
I let you guys all be the smart ones. You guys tell me where we're going, what we're doing, what you're hearing, what we should be doing differently, and then we make decisions. And I love it.
Which is being proactive and not reactive.
And then when I really don't know what to do, I go ask my daddy.
What if he doesn't know?
Then I Google it. No, I don't know. I just love saying that because people are always like, oh, he works for his daddy.
It's funny that you say that. Did you know what Google originally was named when it first came out? I heard it on the radio this morning.
Google.
I heard it on the radio
It
this
didn't
morning.
have
and I
the
couldn't
G.
believe it, and I had to Google it when I got here to find out the answer.
You had to Google
It was
Google?
true. Yeah.
What was it called?
Back rub.
Back rub?
Not even kidding. 100% serious.
The name of Google used to be
Yes.
back. Why did they change it? It's so much better.
I mean, how funny it would be to be like, hey, will you go back rub that? Like, it's just weird. Like, what do you, like, it could just be taken so many different weird ways. Like, hey, how many times a day do you say, hey, Google, why don't you just Google that? I say it to the kids all the time.
Why don't you back rub that?
Go back rub that. No, I ain't rubbing your back. Gross.
Back rub that?
It's just so
Why
weird.
did they call it back rub? That's a
I
cool
have
name.
no idea.
I like
Maybe
it.
there's a story behind it.
Should have been like back scratch.
But then I think they went and they changed it to Google because of one of the guy's names or something, I think.
His name is Google.
No, it's not Google. And it's not Google, but
It's like Ted Google,
something. I don't know. It's weird. I might have to look
Sir
it up.
Eisen Google.
Get back to you next week on that one.
Yeah, now you got me there. I don't think his name was Google.
No, it was. I think it was something.
He was
with
probably
somebody's
Oogling
name.
someone.
Or maybe there was more than one owner and they just combined everything. And that's, I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe one of his name was G and the other one was Oogle and they put it together.
Could be. I don't know. Maybe his guy's name was Goog.
Maybe. What was that guy's name? What was the one? Remember you used to go and search. It used to be a search engine. Ask Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves.
Maybe the
Yeah.
G came from Jeeves. Maybe they hired Jeeves.
Wasn't it a J though?
I don't know.
I think it was a J.
Was it?
I think so.
I just remember Ask Jeeves.
That was about the time MySpace was around, I think.
Right. So Ask Jeeves joined another force and they became Google.
Yeah. Formerly known as Backrub.
Maybe that was it.
So weird.
They were Backrub, and then Backrub turned into Oogling, and then they got Jeeves to come do it, and they got Google.
This is a hell of a rabbit hole we're going down.
It's a real rabbit hole. I wonder if anybody listening anymore. They're all just like this. These guys are
No, they're all on Google trying to figure out the real
these
story
guys
we're
are
talking about.
ridiculous right now. Yeah, be careful. Don't search Backrub on your computer at work.
Right.
You might end up in places you don't want to, and your boss might get mad at you.
Somebody walking up behind you and be like, well,
Like, why is he looking at back rubs? That's weird.
I was just trying to
No,
figure
I'm
out
trying to find out Google's
the
history.
real story on how they got the name.
Then why are you on images?
Great question.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's what I got for you guys today. But like I said, I'm excited by the TC. I'm excited by the ISA. I'm excited by 2024. Obviously, we got about a week and a half left of this year. Year-end sales pricing, year-end financing incentives, tax advantages, Section 179. I'm running out of things to say because
12 days
pretty
left?
sure I'm forgetting something.
12 days left.
12 days left.
7 days till Christmas dinner.
I can't
5
wait.
days till Christmas dinner.
I don't know. I didn't know what
Who
date
knows?
it was.
They all run together.
Rub
Rubs.
together. You
Jeez.
almost said rub together.
Oh man.
Oh man, this is getting out of hand. But yeah, you know what? It is the end of the year. Time to do something. Hopefully today's episode you learned something. Next week we'll be back. We're going to be closed on Monday for Christmas, but we are back on the 26th because there is no better time than now to get into CNC, and we want to make sure we're here for you. So we will be back next week with a new episode. I think next week we're going to talk a little bit about the end of the year, of course, but one of the big things I want to talk about next week is just, showing up and truly giving it 100% effort. That's going to be something we're going to talk about is you can't show up 75% and expect 100%. So We're going to talk about that next week.
Perfect.
You got anything else?
No, hope everybody has a good Christmas.
Yes. Merry Christmas to all.
And if you're in Minnesota, enjoy the beautiful weather we're still having. It's going to be almost January. No snow.
50 degrees on Sunday.
48 and rain for Christmas.
Is that what it is? Rain now?
Yeah, who would have thought? But hey, think about it this way. We're through December with
I
no
know.
snow, no cold. We got January and February to get through, and
Then we
it
can
starts
start warming up again. Yep.
The days start getting longer, start staying lighter.
I like it.
It'll be spring and summer.
I could deal with this kind of winter all the time.
We'll be back to coming to work in flip-flops and shorts in no time.
Wait, what? Wait, we're not supposed to do that already?
That's a new and improved thing for 2024.
Oh, is that 2024's policy change? I'll ask Jim.
Well, Chad already got it okay, he said.
Yeah, good luck with that one. Yeah, no, I'm excited about it, though. I'm excited about Christmas. Hopefully everybody listening has a very Merry Christmas, has a safe holiday travels if you're going anywhere. And obviously we'll be back next week with a new episode.
Sounds good. Talk to you then.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Nick.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.